has it kicked in? Is it?
Well, it's bittersweet, of course.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know it's going to end, but you don't want it to. And when it does, you're like, yeah, oh. Like you're trying to be okay with it, but at the same time, you're like, wah.
You miss everyone as well, don't you?
You really,
Form
you
such
start to be,
friendships.
yes, it's a family. And when they say it's a strictly family and they say it's a bubble, they really do like make it be an inclusive, full-on. I knew all the runners, I knew the grips, like we were mates. Like I just know from the top to the bottom. And what I loved about the show is that it's really run by a lot of women. Hint, hint. You didn't know this, but it's really very progressive as far as I was concerned. Every person that was in a big position was a female, so I care for it.
In the end, you were voted off by the public. Do you think that the bottom line is that
They hate me? No.
The criteria by which some people stay and some people go is a mystery, isn't it? Do you think dancing plays a big part or not?
I think popularity. I mean, it just goes to prove Ed's not a great dancer, but he's very popular with everyone, and everyone loves him.
I don't know, because of course, being part of it, I was just trying to do my best, and having, as you said, an injury at the very beginning. Like the first show, I was like, yeah, and then the second show, I was like, ah. And not doing the dance-off was purely because they didn't know if I had injured myself so much, I would lose it. And it was a fear. I was terrified, and at the time there wasn't a doctor open on Sunday, so technically I was a mess Sunday until Monday, when I could go in and find out that the rip was not to scar tissue, that I would lose the breast. So understandably so, I would have left, not dancing off, but they have rules, and that's why it was hard for me.
And how did it feel? Because there was a lot of controversy around it, wasn't there?
When you were the following day, like obviously all the negativity, how did you feel when you were reading all this?
I felt awful. I felt awful. I didn't want anyone to think that I wouldn't have left personally, because that's my core. But they had rules and they had to go to the vote. And I was like, this is just not someone that I am. I'm very much fair. And but I joined a show that has rules, and you have to go like and follow them. So.
And how did Brendan deal with it?
I think he had a difficult time with it as well, because he's a pro and he'd never experienced it before, and you almost feel like you need to dance off if you're hurt. And then once he found out that it was really not just a sore muscle, it was like really deep. And
so was he pushing you? Go on, girl, get out there. No.
Actually, we both were pushing each other the minute that I said what I had said on TV, and I'd gone on the back, and him and I are fighters, so like not fighters.
But if you're both feisty characters, there must have been times when you did rub up against each other.
I mean, truthfully, I think because we were both feisty, we loved that about each other, and we worked with that. Instead of working against each other, we found a way to work with it. And he has a really good sense of humor, give or take whatever. Give or take what the press wants to go with. But I really had a lot of laughs with him. I think we might have not rehearsed as much as maybe we should have.
Well, that's why how many hours were you actually doing in the practice room?
Oh, we did a lot of hours in the practice room. We were just having a good time. I mean, maybe that's not what you should know, but we were having fun. We were having a laugh, and it was a good time. So I think that you take the press in stages. You know, certain press want to feed stuff, and certain press
And how was it the week that Brendan was ill and you had to dance with Gorka? That was probably your best dance.
It was awful, because, you know, I mean, he's just an awful, awful looking man.
I think that was your best dance.
It was. Aw. Well, you know what?
Sorry, Brendan.
I think in essence, it was my most favorite dance to do, because the song was Frank Sinatra, my grandfather's favorite. Hello, Grandpa. And it was Chicago, which my grandfather's from. I was born in Chicago, so it had a lot of sentimental value. And then when Brendan was gone, I was like, ah. And then Gaka came in, new dancer, saved the day, completely, took me to a different level, but in a way that Brendan was there taking me on steps. Yeah. And I think that Gaka the flower did this. Yeah. And I think that's why it looked like it did. And I don't want to sit there and make things look terrible, but it just really was when I finally found my female, was that dance. And I was really like,
We get some pretty fabulous guests here on Loose Women. There's plenty more where that came from. Just click here to watch more interviews with a whole range of famous faces. And click here to subscribe. It's free, so you'd be silly not to, really.